Right.
U.S. central bank.
So the question is, what lessons can we learn from this, right? I mean, there's major lessons to learn. One is cash flow and management of that. Another is liquidity, whether that's, liquidity can come in multiple forms, whether it's precious metals, whether it's cryptocurrency, whether it's, cash on hand.
What was that you just said? Cryptocurrency? What's that?
Yeah, I think you know a little bit about it.
I like to say Bitcoin more than cryptocurrency.
Yeah, BTC Brad, man. You know what I'm
right.
saying? Yeah. So I think that, just the problem is people have been convinced to consume. We think that because we work hard, we deserve to have a lot of stuff. And there's kind of this nature that comes about where people are constantly consuming more and more, but they get in a really, really kind of lean way where they're one incident away from major problems. And so we take and kind of compound that when people focus too heavily on net worth. So net worth is trying to build up a lump sum of assets, but when we neglect cash flow in doing that, well, now you're in a cash crunch right now, and you have to sell those assets at a discount just to survive. And so retirement planning, Brad, has been terrible at getting people convinced to be illiquid, to lock money away, to build net worth, because one day, someday, they could then learn how to create cash flow from that. But no one's learning how to create cash flow or manage cash flow well enough. And that's what I'm really passionate about, because if we do, and especially when we understand our ability and our hand in that game, and we invest in those things that we know, we can actually start to manage risk a whole lot better. Because look, the banks aren't out there going, yeah, we're just going to, you make a deposit, we'll go put it in a retirement plan. No, they're lending it out and trying to get cash flow. And when institutions say, hey, high risk equals high return, they're not taking risks. They're making money on your money. It doesn't take money to make money. It takes your money for these institutions to make money. They're making their fees even in this downturn. So these are some of the things that I get a little bit passionate about. So I don't want to come across as sounding pissed, but ultimately, I don't like to see people get hurt that go out there with great intentions, working super hard, and they think somehow hard work combined with this wrong philosophy is still going to work out for them. But hard work with the wrong philosophy destroys people. It leads to bankruptcy. It leads to stress. It leads to overconsumption because they want something to show for all the work that they've done, and that's that consumeristic nature.
So, it kind of comes back to, I totally understand what you're saying there, and it feels like it's the Keynesian versus Austrian debate, or like like the hard work ethic, right? The boomers and the silent generation and the older generations that were instilled with this work ethic of to try to, like, you got to work hard and save your money and then live the American dream or whatever. And then they save all their money, and then over 50 years, that money becomes negative 70% purchasing power or negative 60% purchasing power. Right. So it's the people that are in the investments that end up gaining purchasing power because of the deflation of the value of a dollar. But like you said, what was it that you said, it takes money to make money is kind of like a myth?
Yeah, it's what someone that wants your money says.
Will tell you. and
right?
and not only is it a myth, but they don't even have to have money to make money. They just literally make money from nothing. They print the money.
So I mean, you look at the situation, and I would say that there's an increasing amount of pain because of one concept. And that concept is retirement. This notion of retirement is creating so much unnecessary pain right now because people are watching their retirement funds get cut, get lowered. And to make matters worse, with the Fed rate where it's at, how are you supposed to get a retirement income in a safe way following the standard advice that's out there? You could have $1 million in an account right now, and you'd be lucky to get $35,000 a year in interest off of that. That would all be taxable by the way, if it's in a retirement plan. So you're a millionaire on paper and a pauper in how you live. And why I think retirement is a terrible notion is it did come in the industrial age where people were physical laborers, they were overworked, they were dying at a pretty early age, and so there was some hope for them. But really what we got to retire from is antiquated work models that don't really lead to wealth, and then all of a sudden think we're going to retire from that one day, and with higher life expectancy, be a burden on our own finances for 25 to 30 years. in this interest rate environment. It's not going to work, and it's a faulty notion that far too many people have bought into. And this is why they're twice as worried right now. USA Today says people are way more worried about their money than their health during this crisis. Way more worried about their money because they're looking at all their hard work being demolished, and then thinking, I'm not going to have to work in something that I was probably only doing for the benefits, trading time for money, because one day, someday I could finally live the good life. But guess what? We don't know when one day, someday ever is. And it's pretty much never for most people that are following that path. So that's why cash flow, skill set, ability, like things that we want to do for longer periods of time versus doing things we feel we have to do in exchange for a paycheck. This is a time for reinvention. We've had a major situation happen, and we can either fear it and fight it, or we could simply re-identify with what life means to us and what things we're going to do and what matters most, and invest in those things. That's the kind of shitty gift that we're getting through this whole thing.
And that's well said. And also,